watch movies. The movie you're making me watch today is Nosferatu, which I actually watched today. Today. What's that from? Why is that familiar?
Today. It's from fucking Goodfellas when Rob De Niro's telling Maury, the guy who got the wigs, is going to pay him. He's like, I'll get you the money. He's like, today. He's like, today. He's like, today.
What movie?
Yeah. Goodfellas.
Never seen it. But I have seen Nosferatu.
Which one?
Yeah, how many Nosferatus you seen? Just this one or all three?
No, I've seen the one. I thought we were doing the one for 22.
Hey, I was setting you up to do the
1922.
thing. I was trying to get you to do the thing that we start the podcast with. Do the thing. You know what I'm talking about. The thing you do with the podcast.
Do you
say
have
that.
a haiku?
No, you said you're making me watch the
did that.
thing. Oh, you did the thing?
You did that, dude. Where you been?
Been.
My bad. I thought we were.
Take
My
them
bad.
sunglasses off.
My
Man, make
bad.
you hear better, bro.
Yo, the Miz, relax.
Chill up, Miz.
My bad.
Dude's over here. You're too high for the cast.
I think I'm too high for that. I don't know if that's ever happened.
Anthony, what's your fucking haiku say?
You got a coup?
Yeah, I got a coup. You want a coup or me coup?
Jake's coup. Give me Jake's coup.
Alright,
Schwartz,
go,
you
Jake.
give me Jake's coup.
Okay.
That's weird. I'm gonna give you my coup. Schwartz can give you his coup.
Just do it.
All right, a man or shadow, not seen in the sun's day glow, a plague we don't know.
All right. You want to try that one more time?
Yeah, that came out weird. A man or shadow, not seen in the sun's day glow, a plague we don't know.
Nice.
That was a little better.
All right. That's a little better.
Thanks for the retry.
You only get 2 shots.
Eggers in prime form, calling out into the darkness. Beware what answers.
That's good. That's good. It's a good one. When you said Eggers, it reminded me of Eggers. All right. I got 2. You want to hear 1 or 2?
I want to go 2 and then 1.
You only get 1.
All right, 2 then.
Then I want to hear the first one.
Oh shit.
So
A
we each go
vampire. All right, ready?
one. Sorry. Go ahead.
A vampire's lust. A wife a husband can't trust. At last, Orlok bust.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Good for him.
I like that one. Was that 1 or 2?
That was 2.
Nice. Okay, I'm glad we went with that one. That's a good one.
It was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah, I don't even want to hear the other one now. That one was too good.
Robert Eggers strikes again, and it seems like we all liked it.
I
mean, what's not to like? The only thing that's not to like is that we've seen it before. We've seen it done in different ways, and personally, I think it's been done a little bit more entertainingly before. But I like seeing the world through Robert Eggers' eyes.
Name 6 better Nosferatu movies.
That's a challenge. Now, are we talking Nosferatu or Nosferatu e Dracula? Sorry,
I'm talking about Dracula,
Yeah.
and it just happens to be the same story. So I just feel like, obviously, if we're gonna watch Murnau's 1922 version or fucking Herzog's 1979 version, or whatever what that was, like,
which I did.
I did too. I mean, not in a long time, but I have seen them both probably in the last like 20 years. But it's
I've
been
seen
a
both in the
while.
last day.
Okay,
So
I
go
would
ahead.
obviously pick this one because it's.
That's right.
The thing about Eggers is that we all know is like he's making moving paintings. Like his fucking frames are insane. The camera moves are insane, and he does it with such precision that it like takes you there. And I was definitely into his little different version of Nosferatu. I liked that. I thought it was cool. First, maybe not so much, but then it grew on me, and I kind of liked it a little more every time I saw it. I've seen it 3 times now, and I think the last time was my favorite time. I really do. I think after watching all of the BTS stuff and how they went about it and all that, I think that made me appreciate it even more about how simple it is, but how executed perfectly it is. You know what I mean? But it's just a story that I've seen. So like, they didn't tell me anything I didn't know. I knew exactly what was coming. I knew why it was coming. I knew how it was going to come, and that's not a bad thing because it was awesome. It's just a story I've seen, and I think that the one that did it the best was Coppola's. So I think Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula is the epitome of the story, and it's just so stylized and like it's just so like operatic. You know what I mean? This was operatic, but in such a simple way. Like Robert Eggers is like telling a fairy tale. You know what I mean? Like Coppola's version was like more of like a book. This was just like a very simple like. This could be a story that a little kid hears at a fire one night before he goes to bed. You know what I mean? You can tell the story in like 20 minutes.
Right. Do you know if the Coppola one was that?
And welcome back to the Schwartz Show.
Well, no, you asked me. I'm telling you.
What were you saying,
I
Jake?
mean,
Sorry.
Robert Eggers dude, the Witch is like my
Nope,
all-time
Troy's
favorite
coming
horror
back.
film. You know what I mean?
Robert Eggers
And
does a
he
great
does
job with
amazing
this.
things.
I kind of wish, and I feel like this is something that a lot of great directors do, is kind of fall under like the remaking of old shit, which I don't really love. Like even like Villeneuve's doing that with like Dune, dope movies, but I kind of love his original, just his like actual stuff. Like this might be a bold take here with Eggers, but I kind of feel like, and not that any of his movies are bad at all, they're all great movies, all four of them. I feel like I like the one, like every time they get not as good to me, or I like the one previous before. Like I like The Witch the most, and then I like The Lighthouse after that. Then I feel like I like The Northman. It's very, very similar with The Northman and similar on the same level, but it's like what you were saying too. It's like, it's not a new story. The Northman was Hamlet, or that story Hamlet was based off of. We've heard that one. We've seen these. We've seen these movies. They're great though. They're really visually. Visually is where it's the fucking winner though, because visually it's fucking Northman 2 was great visually, but visually this movie was so cool. Cinematography was fucking sick.
I just watched
Insane.
The Northman yesterday, just for shits
I
and
agree. I
giggles.
agree with you though. I think The Witch and The Lighthouse are his best two movies. If I was going to go top two, I'd put them in that order.
The thing about both of Dune and this is that it's a blessing and a curse, because what it is them getting full freedom to do whatever they want, and they're finally doing something that for both of those movies specifically, that they have had a passion for their entire lives, now get to do it. So it's
Exactly.
cool that he got to do it, and it is the same thing over again, but and I know I'm just saying this over
It's
again.
done amazingly.
It's
though.
just it was like watching a play, really. It
Yeah,
was what it
100%.
is cinema. It was
Yeah.
cinema. It was watching a movie. Who cares? Back in the day, back in the old vaudeville days, they were just doing the same shit over and over and over again. Old comedians were just saying the same jokes over and over and over again. When some every now and then they did it differently, and it was cool. You knew what you were getting. You were just hoping they did it nice, and this guy did it nice.
Well, again, I'm not putting it down for that. Like, it's not. I'm
None of
not
us
saying it's
are.
not worth watching, but it's just like I appreciate every second of every minute of this movie. It is a.
Mhm.
It's a painting. It's every camera move is strategic in a way of strategic. The meaning of strategic. You know what I mean? Like the way that things are introduced, the way that lines are given. It's like based on where the camera is moving and listening to him talk about like the Orlok scene when he first goes there and meets him about how he's just like in places that he shouldn't be and moving at paces he shouldn't be moving, and the camera is in places to where it's kind of like perfectly out of focus because you never even see him until like after that scene. Really, you don't even really see his
Yeah,
face
I love
in
how they
that
played
scene,
that.
which was
It
so
was
dope.
throughout. He was
Yeah,
like kind of coming in and out of like the foreground and shit, but it
yeah,
was
you
Just
almost
someone
saw
out
him
of
every
first. I
time.
feel like they
Yeah,
kind of built into it. He
The
was like,
shadow.
he was in the
yeah.
shadow more earlier on, and kind of like more obstructed early on, and like I feel like it took a while for us to actually see him for what he was until like fully later on in the film, like when he confronts
Yeah.
what's her face, like
This is
way
the
later.
only
That's like the
Dracula
first time we
movie
actually
I've ever
fully see
seen.
him.
So all your
Really?
arguments
Wow.
as to which one's better and which one you like better, I mean, this is the only one I've ever seen. I never saw the
It's
Coppola one. I thought that's the one
okay.
with Gary Oldman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
just think
great.
it looks so stupid. I think
It's
Gary
fucking
Oldman
great.
looks so fucking
it's
stupid. I'll
amazing.
never watch it. I can never get
It's so
past when you
good.
see him. He's just like, oh, I just think he looks so stupid.
That's dumb.
It
It's so
has its
good.
issues and
Okay,
it's kind of silly at
It's
times,
a little
looks
campy.
especially
looks
It's a little
dumb.
because of
campy.
how Keanu Reeves is like
Oh, he
Oh,
sucks.
Keanu
really
Reeves is
feels
in it.
out of.
I'm out.
He's essentially Holt's character.
Yeah,
Is
he's the
he's
cutter.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's feels very out of place because he's that still like that early '90s dumb young Keanu Reeves. It felt like fucking
It's like
Bill
fucking
from. Let me finish.
Bill and
You
Ted
haven't.
Keanu Reeves. Yeah. Sorry.
It's all good, but thanks for finishing my thought. Is what I
He's
was gonna
like,
say.
oh no, vampires! Whoa!
Kind of, yeah,
Exactly.
but it's almost funny at times. And as like Winona
I don't
Ryder,
want
it's like
funny.
it's a very good for the time it was made. It's very very timely, I guess you could say. It's good. I recommend it.
It's
But
it's really
This
good.
one's good.
this one
This one's amazing.
for the time it was made and for what we have in front of us, this was fucking a really well done film. Like you were saying, like this was a movie for fucking movies. Like this is it felt like a classic
Cinema.
cinema. It felt fucking great.
Felt like
Um,
a it felt in the performances were just ridiculous.
performances were so
Insane.
good.
And it
Sometimes,
Skarsgård,
was
dude.
yeah,
Skarsgård's the man. That dude can do a lot of
yeah.
things. I like
maybe
him.
over the top at times, but I think it felt
That's
appropriate.
perfect.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
perfect.
appropriate to what it was,
Yeah,
and
it
like
was
the
definitely
look of
pro, but
things felt like
I don't think over the top. I mean, this
a
whole movie was
lot,
over the
but
top.
exactly like and for that for the sake of what it was. I mean, it was yeah, and I think my only
Gorgeous.
complaint would be that this it maybe there's a slow burn to it. It was a little, I did it. I think you
It
maybe
was just
somewhere
too
around it
simple.
kind of
There
it
was
took
no subplot,
In,
nothing. You know what I
I
mean?
was like, oh, yeah.
yeah. Once he was like on the road, it was like, huh. I really like when they got to the gypsy village. It was a little bit like, what the fuck? What are we
I
doing
loved
here?
every minute of that. That shit was dope.
Yeah, she
I
was
don't know. Some of that
telling
was a
him
little
not to
weird,
go
but it
up
was
there, and he was like, "Whatever, lady, get out of here."
yeah.
Oh, I loved all of that. You know what I did. You know what it is. Like you talked about, like the whole remake and shit like that. Like Anthony said, this is something he wanted to make forever, and this is something that like he almost made this as his first movie. Like that would have been a pretty crazy,
Well, didn't he
crazy
make
thing.
like a student film version? Like he had to do like
He made
I
a
think the
play.
story was
He
oh,
made
was
a
it a play?
play.
Okay, because I
Yeah, he
think he had to
directed a play
adapt
of it. Yeah,
something like and in his college years was that what it was? It was like an
yeah. I think he was in
assignment.
college. Yeah,
Yeah. So he made a play version of that's yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Yeah. But anyway,
He played a
I
rock.
Anthony, I think it's insane that you have never seen anything else Dracula, and the fact that this is the one is pretty dope because you got to see like probably the most historically accurate one. If there was ever to be accuracy in this story, this is probably the one with the most. Because Coppola's one is very campy, it's very genre-y. It's like, and then like the ones with fucking Christopher Lee, the Hammer ones, they're super like super kind of soap opera in that way too, where like he's a fucking like a James Bondy kind of guy. Like he's got the bravado and he's like gonna
Yeah,
steal your woman and all that
which
shit.
again
You
for the
know what I
day
mean?
And that was
was
Bela Lugosi too.
Yeah. Then Bela Lugosi did it. Like, but this
30s.
is like this is Robert Eggers' version is like, all right, well, I'm gonna make what a vampire actually is like, somewhat recorded in like if you're thinking of it as like it could be something real. This is what people were saying it could have been. He's almost like saying that vampires in that region were almost like zombies, and that's why it kind of looks like a zombie because that was their interpretation is they were more like zombies, which
he
is
looked
cool.
terrifying.
It was
Yeah.
pretty
There,
awesome. It was
I
pretty
like that
cool.
take. Like the rotting corpse look
Yeah,
was something I've never seen before with a
exactly.
vampire, which I thought was pretty dope
Also,
approach to
let's
it.
get to it. The mustache. The mustache is pretty amazing.
The mustache was a nice touch. I mean,
Like,
how unrecognizable is fucking Skarsgård? Like
yeah, I would never tell it's him.
you no
I
way.
can see it in his eyes if you're looking for it. But
No,
like
I don't
if
see
you
it.
just saw that, you'd be like, that's not no, there's not Bill
Yeah.
Skarsgård. He's
If
gone.
you told me, this is the thing.
That he
I
had
can
tiny
see
legs, you wouldn't believe him.
I could not see. I could see him in it. Like I can totally see him in it. 100% see his face in it. But I cannot see him in this. I do not see it. Maybe if there was no mustache, it might be. But the mustache and gives him a completely different look. And so I think
Yeah, dude. This could have been
you
Gary
guys,
Oldman again.
you guys probably know this, but the mustache is there because in that time, a person who lived in that place would have a mustache. That's why it's there. Like that's what Robert Edgar said. He's like, in every painting we
We
saw
had mustache.
and everything we think, everybody in that time would have a mustache. And Vlad the Impaler, the guy who Dracula is based on, like off like the just he had the exact same mustache. So like that's why he put it in there
So is
too.
that what you mean by like the historically accurate in the sense of like
Yes,
this is how it would
yes.
be in
If
those
a
times in these
Transylvanian
places?
nobleman lived in this time, he would
Okay.
have a mustache
Every
and he would wear that jacket, like that
all the
jacket he had
aspects
on.
of him are much more rooted than just putting a crazy
Yo,
makeup on a
yo,
guy and on Gary Oldman
Gotcha.
and
That's why he's not
making
just that like whited out like
right.
figure.
exactly.
He's
He's a
just like
zombie,
what he was.
basically.
He's like a zombie version of what
Yeah,
that person at those times and those places would look like.
Like a
yeah.
That's
mummy.
Because
cool.
Speaking of
That's pretty. That's
mummy, this was
pretty
pretty
fun. Cool
mummy,
idea.
the mummy esque vibes to it too.
the Brendan Fraser vehicle.
Yeah.
In what way? This movie is so different than
They
that in every
wake
way.
up the dead. The dead then starts killing loved ones. The mummy is killing and regenerating, which is kind of what I thought was going on with Nosferatu. I thought he was like regenerating as he was sucking blood, but he's just an old rotting corpse that just
Yo,
needs to suck blood.
how about that shot that he straight up did in The Witch when the witch is pouring baby blood all over her in her
Yeah.
broom, and the wide shot. He does it when he
with the
sucking
guy.
on Nicholas Holt's fucking body. I was like, oh, that's the fucking shot, dude. Just the wide shot of them on the ground, and it's all dark around them. It was awesome.
I don't know which shot you're talking about.
So you remember the one in The Witch where she's pouring the blood on her from the baby, and it shows the witch, it shows the old woman,
Yeah.
and it's just a wide shot, and she's in like the left bottom of the
At the
frame.
end?
No, in the beginning.
The very
Remember when
beginning.
when
Just
she
crushing the blood.
the
she's
baby,
crushing
it's
the
the next
baby.
shot is her on
she's,
the
like,
ground. It's a
wiping
wide
blood off.
shot. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
it,
that
wasn't it
he
that it was that old guy, right?
no, in this one it was when the first time you see him suck fucking Nicholas Holt's fucking chest is the same basic
Oh yeah,
shot.
that one.
Yeah,
When
that
he was
shot.
just straddling him on top,
Yup,
just
yup,
fully
yup.
just into his chest. That was
It's
insane.
like the same frame as from The Witch, basically the same
Which-
framing.
Yeah,
It was
okay,
pretty
I see
awesome.
what, I know what you're talking about. But there was another one where you see the witch from behind.
Yup,
And
and it goes into
they
the
kind of did that same shot with the old guy in the circle.
yup in the
Where and then
pentagram
he
or
like
whatever
flips
that was.
around and he's like, "I did it! I got
Yeah,
you,
dude, that's
young
Renfield,
woman."
dude. That's Renfield.
Oh, that's Renfield.
Yeah,
Which the homeboy played Renfield.
yeah.
This
Oh,
is the guy.
Knock.
This is
Knock
the kid
is
from About a
Renfield.
Boy.
Oh yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah, that guy was Renfield in Renfield.
Yep.
Yo,
But yeah, the character of
did
Renfield.
Christopher
the
Nolan
Knock.
write this or what?
Right, I know. And
It's blowing my mind.
also, Willem Dafoe played a version of the actor that played Orlok
Max
in
Schreck.
the original Nosferatu.
This is like
Max
Forrest Gump.
Shrek.
Yeah, like there's Shadow of a Vampire is about the making of Nosferatu.
That was such a good movie.
in a weird way, kind of like in a
Because
not
everybody dies,
like
right?
accurately, it's like farcical way. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a satire.
It's a fucking great movie. Though.
It's a
Have you seen
satire.
We
it?
watched
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Did we all watch that together?
We watched it at my house. Yeah.
Adorable. Yeah,
Did I
I do remember
watch
watching that at your house. I don't remember Anthony being there.
Yeah, Anthony was there. We all watched it. It's when he was in town. John Malkovich was in it too. He played the director.
Sometimes I
He's
watch
like, "You will
movies
not."
Like this.
He's like, "I will eat her later." He's like, "You will not eat
yeah.
my actors." He's like, "Eat somebody less important, like the script girl." He goes, "I will
Oh,
eat her
I do
later."
remember that now. Actually, I
That
do
movie was
remember
sick,
that.
dude.
All right, so I
Yeah,
it
have
was
seen another
awesome.
vampire movie, and I saw Renfield.
Nice.
Renfield's good. I'm actually curious about now that I saw this. There's a new movie called I think it's like Last Voyage of the Demeter,
Yes,
and it's like a
based off of
chapter in
Dracula.
Dracula, like
about the voyage.
the voyage
Yep.
where like he fucking eats all the people on the
He
boat.
eats everybody, the whole crew.
And like it's
Yeah.
The
there's a
voyage
movie
of coming.
Yep.
that scene
They
where
kind
he's
of
like
show
on
a
the
little
boat.
bit of that.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
like a movie basically centered around that
Yep.
story,
Yep.
which sounds. Now I'm more interested to see that, knowing that it was like a direct Dracula link.
Yep.
I mean, he was
I'm
probably
curious.
like
Yeah.
a month, right? 2
Yeah,
months, 3 months.
It's a couple months.
Right. Yeah, so it's
Because
a
it was a
crazy
6-week journey. He said it was 6
Yeah.
weeks. I don't know if that was there and back or just there or just back.
I think just there.
That's a long time.
and that was on horseback, right? Or was that on the boat?
Well,
That
he
was
had
on
to do
horseback.
both. You
Yeah.
can't just get there by fucking
Yeah, no, he had the Dracula has to take the boat.
water. Yeah.
Because he's got to hide in the coffin and be laying in
Yeah.
his dirt.
See, that's another thing that this movie kind of messed with too. Is it never really said that he had to be out of the sunlight until the end, where you saw him die in it, which was kind of interesting. It was like it wasn't like rehashing things you already kind of
They
knew.
say
which was
that.
cool.
Well,
They say
what
it a couple times.
what it
Well, he
is,
says by the cock, the first cock
Yeah,
of the
first
crow,
crow
or
and
of the
something.
cock.
that's what's
Yeah.
the curse. Because in the other Nosferatu movies, they don't really pay attention to him being like. There's parts where he's like in the sunlight, not directly, but it's like during the day and you see it. So it's
Yeah.
not like a direct link to like. It's if he drinks the blood of the girl until sunlight, then because it's supposed to be like in the original book was like if he drank the blood of an innocent and then is still out until the sun, then the sunlight will kill him. It's one of those. It's situational.
So after the Me Too movement, they had to get consent.
Yeah, they had to get consent. They had to make her consenting, and they had to make it like I don't know, like more. She has a history and like a past with them and stuff.
Well,
Even
I thought that
Nosferatu
was-
does not want to get canceled.
I thought that was what was the cool part of this one is that it opens up. What's just? I mean, everybody knows the tale of Dracula. They know it. If not, what happens is
Turned out she was a whore.
what in the actually let's just go with this movie. So the movie opens up with Lily Rose Depp character
Talk about this movie.
basically like as a teenager being like, yo, somebody fucking like answer me, like somebody in the universe, like give me a
She was
sign,
just
like
banging old dudes in
I
her teenage
wanna.
years, dude. That's all she was doing.
What do you mean? She doesn't show any of that. She's just like calling out to the
Yeah,
world
but you
to like be
know.
They were
accepted.
banging, dude. They
You
were banging.
know. She
Wait,
was
who?
probably one of those
Nosferatu, dude.
maidens that
Warlock.
like that read naughty literature to people to old men in steam rooms and then blew them.
Yeah, she's all like, I don't want to be.
Like Pocahontas. Did you know
I don't want.
Pocahontas used to perform naked cartwheels for the sailors?
Said who? Who told you this?
Say it, but history.
Dude,
That
this
sounds
is
cool.
erroneous.
History, dude. I mean, it's
Yeah, dude.
irrelevant, but it's history. That's true. That's true fact.
All right. I'll have
So
to
Ellen was just like
works
a
cited
girl,
page.
and
Google
she
Pocahontas
felt
cartwheel.
repressed by society, and she longed for some pleasure.
Dude, she straight
And
up was calling out to like
she was
whoever is
banging old
listening.
dudes. Yeah, and Orlok was one of those old dudes listening, and she fucking
So
they hooked
let's
up
get
a few
into that.
times.
What happened?
And
Did
then
she like what did
Well,
what did
let's
she
get into
do?
that
Did
real
she
quick.
like curse herself?
Yeah, what happened? She's calling out, and then like this ancient fucking being who's just been alive, like existing in like solace, is just like, I hear you. Now we're lovers. Is that what happened? Is that
no,
what that's what happened?
they used to bang. That was it.
When?
They
I don't know what you're
in
talking
this
about.
version,
You're making zero sense.
What?
Orlok and Ellen used to bang. Like they banged in the past. They showed it like that. They were like together, and then he like cursed her, and she took off.
Yes, I get
And
what it shows, but like when before that, when she calls out to him, like why does he the one who like hears it? You know what I mean? Like, what
oh,
is it
'cause he's a
about him?
vampire.
I think he
That's
was just
just
she was slinging puss wherever she
That's
could
it.
land it, and he was there, dude. He was a pole,
He
and
was
he
just
got
there.
his pole
I
got
don't think
puss.
it's about the puss for her. Her, it's
That
like
was
a
definitely what
I
connection
mean,
she
puss is
to
involved.
her. It's about the
she wanted.
connection to
Some
Pete to something. Like I don't think she felt.
she wanted some P
I,
for her V.
no,
There
I
was a
don't think
lot
she
Yeah.
of
felt like
V
she
and
could
P
have
going
any
on.
connection to a human person, and she was looking for something more, and it ends up being something like dark and like perverse. I think that's more of what it is. I don't think it had. I don't think her thing is sexual in any way.
I think she just wanted. I'm pretty sure it
I
was
don't
her
even
wanting to get
think
banged.
his thing
I
was
don't think so.
sexual. I think
I think he wanted
I
to get
think
fucked.
the whole movie was highly
I think
sexual,
everyone wants to get fucked. Am I wrong?
and I think everyone wants to get fucked.
Yeah.
You
I think
guys are
sex was a
definitely
big part of it.
100%. But like her thing
yeah,
wasn't
you're
because she
right.
wanted to fuck. It was because she wanted a connection to something. She wanted to feel a connection to something. That's why she
Yeah, she wanted to
did
feel
that.
a dick connected to
Have
her
you ever met a Have you ever
vagina.
met a person, Schwartz? You think most people want to fucking connect to people, or you think
You
most people
guys.
just want to
They're
get fucked?
connecting. They're connecting like
You
the
want to meet
Anyway,
people, or you want to fuck
she's
people?
they're
reaching
connecting
out.
like the
One.
people from Pandora.
She's reaching out, and this fucking vampire who's just like pure evil answers. And
Here,
basically he
I think
curses
what
her and he's
happened,
like, "You are mine."
uh, Renfield. I think what happened is Homeboy called Renfield and told him,
Don't call Renfield because that's going to make it very confusing. Because there's the other versions of these stories that is a character called Renfield, but he's not this character. He's Renfield in a different movie. So we're gonna. This
what was
is
this guy's
Thomas.
name?
Thomas Hutter.
No.
Renfield wasn't actually
Anthony's
in this
referring.
one.
I'm talking to
Yes,
his
he
boss.
was, but he wasn't. The boss, the guy,
His boss
that
is
guy
Knock.
was Renfield, though.
But
that
Knock
was
is the characters in this film that we're
in
talking
this
about.
film,
Knock.
yes. But he is
Yes,
basically
Knock.
Renfield.
Okay.
In
Yeah,
the
that's
book.
correct.
Yeah.
That's true.
Suck
Yeah.
my knock, dude. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying it was confusing because there's a lot of
I'm
things.
confused. Schwartz
Lot of
called him
what-have-yous.
Renfield. I just saw the movie.
Yeah.
I don't remember shit.
I'm confused too because Schwartz thinks she was longing for fucking feelings.
She was longing for that long dong, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Long
You
dong
see his
dong.
fingers. You saw
Dude,
his fingers. What do
You
you think his
guys are
dick
making
looks
it
like?
so like
Big ol'
not
hands.
like so just shallow. It's not like that
This
at
is
all.
definitely what that was.
It's not deep. It's the same story.
It's deeper than that.
Yeah, her vag is deeper than that.
People aren't deep.
Jesus Christ.
She ain't
Anyway,
deep.
so she calls out to this dude. She calls out, this dude answers, and he basically curses her. He's like, "Yo, I'm a fucking." He says to her, "You're not for this earth. You're not for these people. Like you're for me." And like she curses her, and then
whatever
it
it
says like,
is, he tasks Knock with getting her to him or finding her.
Yeah.
"Yes, but yes." 100%.
So
That's
that's how
his
he
like
found her.
that's
how
like his
they
servant. He's like
connected.
the fucking the
Renfield.
dude from 30 Days of Night in the beginning who kills all the dogs so that they could come there and the dogs won't fucking scream. You know what I mean? Ben Foster. That's Renfield.
Yeah. This is yes. This is
He's a
this is
hang
Renfield.
around, is what they call
Yeah.
him, or
Yeah.
He's a familiar.
A familiar.
familiar.
Yeah, he's a
Yes.
familiar.
Familiar.
So
Familiar.
He's,
and it
he's like a
also
servant, little kind of slave
He
boy.
wants to be a fucking
So I
vampire.
think he had like he must. We don't really know that his relationship with the vampire as much, other than he serves him because they have to
no,
have some
he
kind of
went
history.
there. He went there just like Hutter did, and he became a disciple of him.
Right.
Yes.
Is that what happened?
We don't really see that in the movie, but
Yes, but that's
is
what happens.
He's
That's what
definitely a
happens.
disciple.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what happens. We already know that. That's what happens.
yes.
I didn't
So
know
and
that.
then after the dream, you're introduced to fucking Nicholas Holt's character, who plays her husband now, and he's like a young guy who's trying to like do good and get his wife a house and start a
He's got
family
money.
and be a nobleman and have money. And he's friends with this other guy
I mean,
played by Craven,
aren't
the
we all
vampire
just
hunter.
trying to
We
live that
get
hunting
fucked,
life, dude?
get money, get fucked, get money. That's all this movie's about.
I mean,
That's all life is about. That's why this movie's beautiful.
I googled what is this movie about, and it said get fucked, get money. It was weird.
Fucking and money, dude.
It said it wasn't any deeper than that. But go ahead.
I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Jake just keeps saying dumb shit.
I'm speaking the truth. Whether or not you think that's dumb is on you, but I'm just saying what life's about.
All right, let's be real.
You're trying to talk about the movie.
I don't remember
characters.
this beginning with her calling out. What exactly happened?
That's how the movie starts. She's
Okay.
called. She's like praying to
It was
like
like
someone
8 hours
to.
ago.
Yeah, she's like praying out to like just someone to answer her, and this dude answers. It's like this evil thing answers, and he says to her, he's like, "You're not for this earth, and I'm gonna be make you mine. We're gonna be together." And then it kind of says to some years later, and if you know the vampire Dracula story, basically Thomas Hutter's boss, the Renfield guy, who's Knock in this, gets summoned by Orlok, goes like Hutter did, and he tells him the plan. He's like, "You're gonna work for me now. I'm gonna make you a vampire, and you're gonna help me get this girl." And then he's like, "We're gonna fucking get her husband to come here, keep him here, and I'm gonna go get her." And that's the story. That's the basic story of the whole fucking Dracula thing. And in the book, and that they don't talk about in this, she's like reincarnated. This version of her is like the reincarnation of the woman he lost like a long, long time ago, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go to her. But in this, what Robert Eggers did is he's like, "Yo, instead of making Holt's character the main character, then you're introduced to her because he sees that she's reincarnated. He's like, I'm just gonna make it so that she's been the main character the whole time, and she actually has like crazy parts to her where she's like reaching out for something more. Like that's Robert
mean,
Eggers' take on is her being like the kind of
There's
weirdo she
nothing
is.
in that to say that she isn't the reincarnation in this movie.
100%. He just doesn't
Well,
say
she has a
it.
past. I mean, she says it directly later in the film that like I've been with him, like she even said he pleasured me more than you ever have.
Yeah.
Like she directly said
Rude.
that.
I thought
but I
she
know
was just
but
angry at
Fucking
him.
with him.
I thought he just
maybe
like didn't do
but
the dishes.
I
or
feel
something.
like they definitely fucked and they were definitely had a history together because that's what she directly said. But you're right. In the original
think that-
Dracula, there's a different
I think
situation.
it makes
but
sense.
for
I think
this
it makes
film-
sense that she is reincarnated, and I think because it seemed like she just kind of snapped into something right there when she started saying that, because she was like crying and she was all like sad, and then she like snapped. She was like, "Whatever, he fucks me with that demon dick better than you could."
Well, her whole life since she talked to him, he's just been like haunting her every now and then. He just like talks to her, and like she knows that like
My
eventually
long
he's coming.
legs.
You know what I mean? She gets it. She knows they're connected, and everybody fucking brushes it off. They're like, "Nah, that's just your your
Crazy,
fucking
bitch."
imagination running wild. Don't be
I
fucking
mean,
crazy, mate."
I
Like
do
it's
miss the days where we could just tie a bitch down, put her in a corset, give her a little ether, and call it a night, you know?
yeah, sure.
When they get a little wild, you know what I'm saying? Sean Connery would agree.
Yeah, but this one it still felt like they physically had these two characters physically in this film that were Edgar's version. These characters had a physical past. That's how I interpreted it.
Hmm.
Despite what I've seen about the other films or not.
I didn't
like,
interpret that at all until
Yeah,
you said
I don't
that.
interpret the fact that they physically had a past. Like
because that's what I thought the opening scene was. It was when they were together.
I thought the
And
opening
then
scene
the
was
opening
like her
scene
having
was-
an orgasm on the ground by herself. Am I wrong?
Well, no, he's on top of her when it happens. But like that's the thing is she called out to him and he like answered her, but I don't think he was there. I think that was like her interpretation of what she was feeling. Like
Yeah, I see
everything was
what you
her
mean,
like
yeah.
by herself, and then like her seeing him was just like, look, that's what it is. Like I don't think he actually sees her until he sees her for the first time that we see it. Like that's how I interpret it.
Really? So what about like
Yeah.
her saying like I know him, like
Like I think
telling?
it's like in her mind, he's talking to her. Like he's never physically been next to her, but he's talking to her in his head. Like
So
that's
you
why
you don't
he
think she was being literal about that?
He
no,
said that
because
she
like
fucked him.
there'd be
Right.
no reason for him to like have to get on the boat then, you know what I mean? If he could just like show up there, like why would he have to get on the boat and go in the boat and buy the property if he could just like go there and like do what he has to do, you
Well,
know?
she might have been there before. I don't know. They might have. They somehow were. I just feel like they were somehow together in the same place before.
I
Like I
don't
don't know.
think
If he's, I
so.
don't think he's always been in Transylvania. I
Well,
don't know.
I
But
guess if they banged before, then he can.
I think he's got like
I
a
thought if they
telepathic link
banged,
to
he
her.
was immortal and he could go into the sunlight. I thought that's what happened. How come he died?
no.
No.
Why did he even want to bang her?
Well, that's the. Yeah, I don't know. Like he just wanted her to become his. Him dying was kind of. That's a little unexplained.
It
Him
really
just
is
dying in
Well,
the
just
that
like
sunlight.
was
an
Of the,
them
ultimate love
that was
that
her
was
story.
just them.
manipulating him.
It's a
That was
love
her
Yeah.
story.
knowing that he was going to come up in the sunlight and die. She was sacrificing herself so that everybody could live.
Right. But she knew
So
that. But
basically, she fucked him, but she didn't like it, so he died.
No, basically
I think she
he
liked it.
he was sucking her blood, but he didn't realize that the sun was going to come up. And when the sun came up, he was in such like a happy embrace
He
and
was
so
distracted.
like into it that she was able to just like kill him without him realizing that that was the plan.
Yeah, I
Dude,
kind of
suck
got
that titty
that.
to
I kind of got
suck that
that.
titty to death, dude. Good for him though, dude. He like died doing what he loves. Like that's fucking cool.
I think he did die in. I think he died happy, a happy
I
monster.
mean, yeah, he did. I definitely think he did.
I think that's
Who
all
wouldn't?
I
he's
think
ever
she did
wanted.
too. That's the thing. I think that was the point is that like she was like more in tune with that creature than she is with humans. That's why I think it's deeper than just her wanting to get fucked. Like I think she craved like a connection with something that she couldn't get with any humans and like that and the crazy part is the part that is like is what calls back to her is just pure evil. Like that's the basis of it. It's like she's looking for something, she's longing for something, and what answers is like evil. Like yeah, like that. That's the point.
Interesting.
It's just like,
I mean, I kind of like
hello.
that we all have like different perspectives on what this is because it's clearly not direct from anything. Or because I don't know, I view it as something completely not completely different, but I definitely view it as something different.
Well, how
Dude,
many times did you
cool.
see it?
I saw it twice.
And Anthony just saw it today. So I
I saw it
guess
yesterday.
so. I saw it yesterday, and I saw it on Christmas.
Nice.
So
A couple weeks ago.
I
I thought you saw it 3 times.
I
I
did. I
I
saw it.
dove real
I
hard
did.
into
I
into
did
the
see it a
other
third
movies
time.
and the other lore of it all for
Yes.
discussion's sake. I watched the other two Nosferatus, but
And what'd
I
you
don't know.
think of those? Obviously, the original was great. What'd you think of Herzog's?
I actually kind of really liked Herzog's.
It's
Herzog's.
good.
I
Yeah.
thought it was like it weirdly I sympathize with Nosferatu a lot more than the other ones because he kind of was more like this
I felt
lonely dude that was like cursed with
I felt
immortality.
that. I felt the
But
sympathy, even
I
in this
think so.
one.
Even that one because that was there for him too. Like he's this lonely. He's like I think
It's
he's
very
cursed.
Beauty and the
Ultimately,
Beast.
it's all
Mhm.
curses. Like I think somehow he cursed her to somehow be connected with her, and he's cursed to be like stay alive forever to never die, even though he's this rotting corpse. Like it's just this crazy. It's sad, and I think part of it maybe she felt for him. And I was gonna say that about the Herzog movie. I think she kind of felt bad for this character, and like that was part of the reason why she like sacrificed herself.
Why?
You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Why did? Because she changed her mind.
yeah. I mean, I think she was like in this version, Edgar's version. We're talking. Why did she change her mind? Because at first she was like scared of it, and then she came around to it. Like I feel like she was just kind of like
I think she just realized that in order for this to
intrigued
stop,
by it,
I think
and
to
knew
stop,
that
she has
it
to do
needed to
it.
stop.
Yeah, that's the only way it was gonna work. He tells her that. He says,
Yeah,
"You have 3 days. Everybody dies." This when he kills the
That's right.
kids. That
That's
was
right.
that was
That's right.
wild.
That's right.
and also
Oh,
like
that scene was
she
insane
has
when
that
he
little
was
like
just
side
sucking the kids dry. Oh my
yeah,
god.
oh that was awesome.
Epic in
That
death.
excited me. And especially I love that there were
Remember
a
that
couple
happening?
scenes before that. She was like, I promise I'll never let a monster get you. And I remember when like I saw her say that, I'm like, ooh, bitch, this
We
is
should
gonna be
do
good.
we should do a best under 18 murder draft.
Well, that'd be a good one.
It'd probably not make it on TikTok very long, to be honest with you. But
You know what you know why I think my idea of like him communicating with her through dreams and through talking is a little valid too, is because those little kids kept saying they've been seeing something, they've been seeing a monster under their bed and all
okay.
that shit. And I think he communicates with whoever he wants, to be honest. You know what I mean? Through
Yeah.
thought and all
No,
that
I,
shit.
I see where you're coming from now, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I just kind of had a
Yeah.
different interpretation that it was mine was maybe just more simplified, but it does make sense. I thought they had a physical connection and like he kind of like did something to her, sort of almost like how he has control over not Renfield, but Knock, whatever.
Yeah.
How like he has, but I feel like it's they physically met, but no, again, it wasn't in the movie. The movie Edgar's version, we never saw that, but I
Yeah.
feel like they had to have physically met at some point, and they had that connection. So I've
But
kind of just deciphered it to be the same with her, that they had a past physically somehow,
that dude
and
Knock is
I
like a
thought we saw
practicing
in the beginning.
occultist. Actually,
Oh
that's why
yeah,
he's
I
in
know.
that
Yeah,
fucking circle. That's why he's doing that. Like he's all about like the religion that
yeah,
Orlok is a part of.
and there's the book, which is more
Yeah,
important than the other versions of Nosferatu. Is this book that they
yeah,
have is kind of talks all about like the curse and the lore, and but they do get into it when Defoe find the character Defoe plays to find or has that book or finds the book or whatever. They
yeah,
find the shit in Knock's office, right? Don't
yeah,
they go back and like they
yeah.
find his
It's
little
hidden
prayer
in the
circle and
thing.
shit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Defoe's basically playing fucking what's his name, the famous
V-
vampire
Van
hunter,
Helsing.
Van Helsing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's who he's playing.
These are
Anyway,
perfect roles for Defoe.
oh,
Robert
100%.
Eggers
Defoe's
writes great
so great.
Defoe roles.
Yeah,
Definitely.
100%.
Yeah, he's been in 3 of his 4 movies and fucking great characters in all of them.
He's just already over the top. He's a very theatrical actor, and these
Yeah,
are very theatrical movies.
100%.
Yeah,
Theatrical as in the theater, not like cinema.
I mean,
certainly.
everything, even the technicality of these movies, like we talk about how some directors let things be more loosey goosey with performance or with blocking. Like that's not Robert Eggers. Like they
No,
go in there and they're like, "Yo, this is exactly how it's going to be. And you have to
the
exist
blocking
within that."
has to
And
be on point
supposedly,
because every
Especially
the
frame
yeah.
camera
is
move it
perfect. Yeah,
reveals
the camera
things. The camera
exactly.
reveals the things in the scene. The
Exactly.
movement of
The
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 camera
last
reveals
scenes
what the scene is.
of Nosferatu of Orlok and what's her name, and like he comes in, camera comes around, windows framing him perfectly, or when we first meet Orlok and he's framed, or he's telling her you're gonna die in 3 days, and he's framed in the window with the fucking
Mhm.
dressing all
Mhm.
around. Epic.
So it's like
Yeah.
subtle like oneers too. Like there's such a long just the
Yeah.
one
Mm-hmm.
shot scenes,
Yep.
and it's like you don't really see it as much because like they do have those big reveals. They have the shifts of different seeing different things as it unfolds.
Well, as we were
Great,
talking about
great work
earlier too, is that
cinematography.
like they don't really switch lenses. Like if they want a wide shot, they have their characters move further away from the lens to create the wide
Yeah.
shot. If they want to reveal something, they have a character move or the camera move dolly left, right, or up or down to reveal something. It's like they're not going to like cut and just like show you another shot for anything. They're going to keep it. They're going to try as hard as they can to just keep it in that one thing, which is awesome. It's really cool. I mean, I listened to Willem Dafoe talk about it, and the first movie he made with them was The Lighthouse, and he said that by like the second or third week, he was like, listen, I'm gonna do with like what you guys want. Just let me complain about it now so that I don't have to fucking feel like I didn't try to like fight for it. You know what I mean? Because actors want to like they want to contribute as much as they can. You know what I mean? So when you tell them that like you have to do it right here, no matter what, it's like it's a little debilitating. You know what I mean? But like Willem Dafoe trusts Robert Eggers' vision so much, he's like, all right, well, I'll just do whatever the fuck he wants me to do. You know what I mean? Because like another thing is too is like most directors are the people who like frame their movies, like they storyboard them and then the DP lights them. The this relationship with Jaron Blaschke and Robert Eggers, like I've heard them talk about it, and every time they've made a movie, they've made 4 movies together now. Is they do a lot of things together, and the best shot wins, no matter whose it is. Like it doesn't matter if it's like Robert Eggers doesn't like just say like this is my shot list, this is my thing here, light this. He actually like he's part of like
He's hands
making
on.
like not only hands on, but he's like frames in this movie are like solely the DP's idea as opposed to Eggers, which like Eggers will straight out like that's how he likes to work. Which not all directors do that. You know what I mean? Like that's how they look at it. Which for fair reason, I see it both ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They know
It's like
he's
they
only
know what they
worked with
want.
him.
Yes.
They've only worked together for for these 4 movies. He's only used this guy, right?
Yeah, he's never used a different
I'm
DP in
sure
his
he's been
movies.
friends with him for a long time.
Yeah. Well, they kind of like this dude DP'd a lot of things before doing working with Eggers, but nothing ever like big. He basically came up big when Eggers doing The Witch. Like that was their like breakthrough
Yeah.
thing.
Then
Yeah.
he knows the vision. That's dope.
And like they challenge themselves, which they like. And like the thing is about this movie too is like all the fucking Transylvanian scenes, like the scene when Warlock you meet him for the first time, that's all filmed with candlelight. They used all natural candlelight
Yeah, it's pretty
from
wild.
the fucking and they use mirrors to reflect it. That's how they lit everything. They reflect it off
He
of
said he
mirrors.
just called. I don't know who made the lenses, Panavision or something. He just said called him and he had him make me lenses. It's not
Yeah.
like back in the day, Kubrick had to call NASA and like
Yeah.
buy all their lenses for
Yeah.
looking at deep space. And now
But you
he
know the
could just
difference
call
is,
and be like, "Yo, can you just 3D print me a fucking dope lens?"
but you know what the difference is too is that like when this guy says he calls, that means like Focus Features is fitting the bill for these lenses and they're doing that. But Kubrick, he just literally bought that shit and like probably like hired a specific technician, and Kubrick and the technician probably physically did the things to the lenses where this didn't happen like that. You know what I mean? Kubrick was just like he was just the guy, dude. He physically like the only Academy Award that Kubrick ever won was for technical was a technical Academy Award for 2001: A Space Odyssey because he like helped create the fucking visual effects, which is pretty wild. Anyway, but yeah, the camera work in this movie and in all their movies is insane. I think like the Oneers, he talked about it too. It's like they had to shoot The Witch on digital because they didn't have the money to shoot it on film, and every film since has been shot on film. And he talks about how like they also used a lot of Steadicam on The Witch because they needed to have time, and he how like since then they only use dollies because like that's how they would do it back in the day, and that's how they want to do it. So it's like they try to never use Steadicam anymore either, which is kind of interesting. And if you think about it,
I
like
res-
they're not Steadicam moves they do. They're too
yeah,
controlled.
yeah, exactly.
They're too precise, and they're not flashy. They're not fast. You know what I mean? It's very like
This is
old
not an
timey
Apatow
filmmaking.
movie. There are marks on the ground that you have to hit. There are words on the script that you have to say. And if you don't, you're going to get yelled at or hit by a dolly.
It's a play, like you
It's a
said.
play.
It's a play. They're just shooting a play. Yeah.
That's what it's like. It's like that in the sense of being repetitive too, because you're doing this as a play. You're doing it every night. Now, not only not necessarily the every night aspect, but I went and saw uh, Lion King. It's probably the 100th company that has done that play in that place for the billionth. Like, I know exactly what I'm going to see, and
Yeah.
people go and see that multiple times. Like, it's not the first time that someone went to see Lion King. They know what they're getting into, but they also know that they're going to see something quality. It's done
Yeah.
in a good way, in a quality way. So it may be a little different this time, even. But you're not going to get an accident necessarily on film like you would in like a play or something like that, where you're like, oh shit, that was supposed to happen. But sometimes, not in this kind of movie, but
Well,
it's
he even
you
says it.
know
He's
what
like,
you're
I don't
getting
like
into.
happy accidents.
Yeah, did he
He
say
goes,
that?
I don't like happy accidents, and I don't want to discover it. I want to plan for it and go execute it. That's what
Yeah,
he said. Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, if you know exactly what you want and you know that it's not going to change no matter what, and his movies kind of call for it. His subject matter,
And you
he
have the
makes movies about
time.
the olden days. His
It's all
movies don't
about the
have
time.
subplots. You know what I mean? Nothing in his movies. There's no subplots in his movies. There's not many characters in his movies. They're always very like one. They're always about obsessive people doing one, trying to get one thing. Like his movies aren't. He could never make Magnolia. He's never gonna make Pulp Fiction. You know what I mean? He's gonna make much more simpler movies, and that's what he does. He's gonna like he said he's always gonna play in the past. He's like he's never gonna make a modern movie either. So, and I respect that about him. He paints pictures. He like the authenticity of it is
Yeah,
the best part. You know what I
he's
mean?
just fucking around with cinema. He's not necessarily trying to do the most original thing. He's just making very creative movies.
He's making fairy tales, dude.
He's
He's
making
just
fairy
making
tales.
fucking
He's
fairy
making
tales. That's what he's
beautiful
doing.
pictures. with
Yeah.
with ridiculous sound. That was one thing that I like that he said, is that people would tell him that he makes very modern horror movies, and he said, I don't make modern horror. My movies all stem from 100 years ago when they were first making movies. I'm using the same rules that they were making. It's the sound that I'm using that makes it feel modern. It's the sound and the music and the cues that I'm hitting. That's what is making you feel like, oh, this is a modern day movie, when it's not the pictures necessarily.
All right,
Just
so
So
using the same
what
old
about
tricks.
what about effects? Like this movie, I couldn't tell exactly where, even with like some acting, even where like physical or practical effects were there versus not there. Like how much
Oh,
of this
apparently,
wasn't.
like all
Go
the
ahead.
stuff that she was doing when she was like freaking out,
Yeah.
apparently that was all her. No wire
Okay.
work,
That
no
was
nothing.
definitely a question with her, because some of the shit and like movement was like, fuck, that was creepy, but like, was that all her? Because some of it was all like, like as a lot of these scenes we were saying, like in one or seemingly one take. I'm sure there were points where you can do a little phantom cut in there, but a lot of these were like, there was a few freak outs, like her like arching up and doing all the
Yeah,
weird
I
like contorting.
from
But that was all
one
her.
of the interviews that
that
I listened to, maybe the one Schwartz sent us. He said that
yeah, that's all
there was no
real.
wire work, there was
Okay,
nothing. She
wow.
did it all herself.
Well,
Yeah,
fuck.
she actually
Good
talked
job.
about that movie Possession a bunch, about how physical that chick was and how like she used that performance to kind of base this performance on.
Oh,
And she
yeah.
worked with like
Hated that.
fucking like gymnasts and shit to do those stretches and stuff. Just like
What did she say? There
fucking
was like some kind of African dance she learned or something
yeah, I think so.
that
Okay.
helped her.
Because even fuck, I don't remember that show, but it was The Idol. Wasn't very
Yeah,
good. But
yeah,
she was a very physical actor in that show as well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I was kind of had that thought of like, I wonder if she's how much of her is physically. So that's good to know. It's interesting. And
This is
what about like
Johnny Depp's
fit?
daughter.
This is
Yes.
Johnny Depp's daughter. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
What about
She's like an
how she
ugly
looked?
Fanning.
Right. That she's got
You know what I mean?
a bit of a yeah. I
What?
mean,
What are you about to say?
I don't want to say I don't want to say our hairlines are any better, but
Of her
nothing,
hairline?
nothing.
She got a
No.
5 or 6 head
Moving,
for
moving on.
sure,
Yeah, moving on. Yeah,
and she got
interesting.
lazy
Got an
eye.
interesting look. Got a look.
Jeez. You guys are fucking brutal. You
She's
guys are like the
like
queer eye for the straight guys.
she's
She's
like
fine.
remember that
I
SNL
mean,
skit where they're like, I'm the cute daughter, and then another one comes, she's like, and I'm
Yeah.
the sexy daughter, and then the other one comes, she's like, and I'm Bonice. This is Bonice.
but would I suck her titties to death?
Oh my
Yes.
Listen,
god.
Yes, I would.
I'm just talking shit. But she does kind of look like a Fanning, and if I was gonna immediately just rate the Fannings, she's 3,
And that's a high bar.
and that's how
Like they're
Facebook started.
yeah, that is how Facebook started. You're right. It's true.
Uh,
It's facts, and that's
anyway,
how
so Walmart
revolutionary.
L Fanning here.
Yeah.
Lily
What's his
Rose.
name too? Skarsgård. Like that whole voice thing, that was all him. Like he was never like
Yeah,
computer
another thing. I'm like, is
generated.
that
There's nothing
someone
about it. That was all him.
that was all Skarsgård?
It was
And
all
like
Skarsgård.
his look, like how much was that prosthetics?
Oh, I
None.
mean, he had a
Printing
lot of.
at
He had a
post.
lot.
And he
No
didn't-
prosthetics. He got
No, he had a
addicted to
lot of
meth,
prosthetics
gained
on.
400 pounds.
but then somehow lost like half of it in a weird way. Sort of rotten skin. Got
I think
jaundice.
what's cool. I think what's cool is that if I
Never
didn't
worked his
know
legs.
that was Skarsgård, I would not be able to tell by looking at him
Oh,
that
fuck
it's
No,
him.
no
That's
way.
what
No.
is so cool about it.
Well, also you
I'd
don't
assume
see
Gary
him
Oldman.
until 2 hours into the movie.
Well, I mean, the way that's
Directly, like
purposely done is
yeah.
awesome. Let's talk about that scene. So basically, Nicholas Holt's character gets called to go do this trip for business, and he's got to bring this guy his deed. And you find out this guy's a vampire in Pennsylvania, and he meets him. And this scene where he meets him, that you've seen in all the other
I mean, you
Dracula
don't
movies.
find out he's a vampire. He's just an old. I mean,
The
he.
gypsies imply some vampire.
Gypsies imply that there's vampires and that he's a vampire, and they kill a
And-
vampire.
and
you're
those
right,
that's
you're
I
right,
now
you're right.
I
But
can I
I
say
don't-
something
also, I don't
about that
think he
scene real quick?
speaks
Go ahead.
gypsy though. I think do you think he understood anything those people were
No,
saying to him?
which I think is a great thing. I think it's great that they're warning him, and he's just kind of like,
Fuck you
okay,
guys.
well, can I get a ride or no?
Yeah. Can you
No.
call me an Uber?
Yeah.
That
This is-
scene when the fucking stagecoach comes is so sick, and the fucking
Yeah,
door
yeah, that's a
opens,
good
and
one.
it's so dope.
Door magically opens, And then when he first meets him, talk about like camera trickery. That I want to know. I mean,
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
what are
That's
you
what I want to talk about. How you
let's
never see
talk
his
about it.
face.
You never see his
Yeah.
face, but also like, you know, he's
He moves around
he
in ways
sits
that he
down
shouldn't
and
be
he looks
naturally
over
moving.
and he's there, but then he's behind him. He's like a ghost. He's
Yes.
like an apparition
Yeah.
moving
Well,
around.
that's what you're not supposed to like. That's what's supposed to fuck with you and fuck with Nicholas Holt is that like you're not. You're like, wait, what's going on? That's what the DP says. Like the camera's guiding you, and you're just not quite sure where it's going to take you, where he's going to be. But you know that there's something that's not natural about it. Like he should not be moving like that. And what you're seeing is supposed to feel like your head's kind of spinning, and you're not quite sure what's going on, which they pull off perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He pulls
perfectly.
off. What's his
Perfect.
name? He's a good actor in this About a Boy guy. Billy Elliot.
Oh,
What's his
yeah,
name?
he's good.
Thomas Holt.
Nicholas
Or no,
Holt.
Sure.
Nicholas
Great
Holt.
guy.
Thomas is
Yeah,
his character.
he's great.
Thomas
He's great
Hutter.
in the X-Men movies. He's Beast.
He's a good actor.
I've never seen the X-Men movies.
He's gonna
Shuri
be
number
Lex
2
Luthor.
was
He's gonna
dumb,
be
but he was
Lex
good in
Luthor,
it.
dude, in the new Superman.
You gonna shave his head?
He did shave his head. He's in the trailer.
I
Jake?
can see that he's
Do you
got
approve?
icy eyes. Shaved head?
Yeah. Is your head still
Oh,
shaved or you growing it back?
I grew it back.
A loser.
I'll never tell.
I'll never tell.
Anyway, so
yeah. Holt.
this scene, the camera trickery in this scene of never seeing his face and never knowing exactly where it's gonna be, and that the frame of him at the table with the fire behind him, and the candle is in this area, and then the water cup is here. It's just like, and those are what are in focus. Those are what's sharp, and you're listening to him talk, and he's out of focus. It's just so cool. It's just like, oh man, like that's so cool.
Very well done. Keep
Yeah,
it in
it's
suspense. He used the old Jaws trick
not show the boat or not show the shark.
or the boat.
Well, that's the thing is
So you
like
see the shark.
that's the thing is you've seen it before. Like you know what it looks like. Even
And it's goofy.
Herzog's version, it's like this is what it is. But this is like a more realistic to the time type of thing. So it like that's another thing he threw at that made it
Yeah.
his own. You know what I mean?
He definitely was the most unique like
Orlok.
visualization of Orlok or Dracula I've seen.
They
Yeah.
gave
Which I
him the
appreciate. I liked it a
hands,
lot.
though. I feel like he was the hands.
The
an
hands were sick,
homage.
though.
The hands, yeah, the
Oh, I
creepy
love the
long
hands.
fingers.
I love everything about him.
gross
I thought he was
fingernails.
amazing. I thought he was fucking
Yeah.
amazing. I thought he looked like an old, decrepit, dead. Like I thought he looked exactly like what he should, whatever he should be,
He was kind of
That was great.
jacked, but like,
except for his
also
legs.
dead. Yeah.
He looks like
He's
Dobby's
also
dad,
9
dude.
feet tall.
Were those tiny legs? Or was that just a huge dick?
Fun fact: Nicholas Holt got to keep the dick because Robert Eggers thought it was funny that when they filmed that scene where he was straddling him, all Nicholas Holt could think of was that he could feel the dick on his leg, so he gave it to him to keep. There's like a picture of him on X where he's like holding the prosthetic up and he like framed it.
You
It's
see
pretty
it
cool.
when
It's
he
pretty
wakes
funny.
him up,
Yeah, just hanging dong,
just fucking dropping dong, dude.
flapping in the wind, dude.
So that you're telling me that wasn't Skarsgård dong?
No, it was a prosthetic.
It's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
I
sure
like-
Skarsgård's dong's nice and girthy.
All decrepit
why
and
wouldn't
shit.
they just use that?
Because
I
it wasn't.
mean-
It's probably because his real dong's not all decrepit and shit.
It did look decrepit.
Yeah.
How many hours? How many
paused
hours of
it.
makeup on his dick were gonna make it look like that? I rewound it a couple times.
I paused it and zoomed in. It looked fine.
That scene was amazing because he's like
Circumcised
about
or
to,
not circumcised?
oh, it was.
he's
not
about to kill
circumcised.
him. He's about to
Makes
kill
sense.
him, and
You
he
could
like
die from
grabs the fucking
circumcision
thing.
back
That
then.
was dope. That was a great scene.
Yeah, that was pretty intense.
That was a
I
cool
li-
scene.
I did like how they kept going in and out of like, is this a dream? Like they would just wake up from shit and it'd be like,
Yeah.
was that a dream or did that actually like it was both sides of like
That's-
her
yeah.
and him on both ends
Yeah.
were like so fucking cool how they kept doing that because you were never really fucking knew what was gonna happen or
That's
what
him
happened or what was
manipulating.
going
He's
on, and
manipulating their
I love
minds,
how they
dude.
fucked with you and they fucked with us as the audience of not really knowing what was real, what was not real. But I think
Do you
we can
think-
kind of interpret everything as real, I guess. Right?
How old is Orlok?
Hundreds
108?
of thousands of years old.
I thought it was 108. My bad.
108.
108. I thought it was. I thought it was.
Who
specifically
says that?
He just looked like an 108-year-old.
No, I think he's been alive for a long time,
All right,
like
fine.
hundreds
Even
of
if-
thousands of years.
Well,
We'll Google it.
I thought he was
Yeah,
supposed to be
Google it.
like a nobleman of the time.
Yeah, he was also. Was he also maybe Vlad the Impaler? Or was that in just Dracula?
Well, that's what Dracula's based off of the guy who was called Vlad the Impaler.
Okay.
He was like
Anyway,
a
okay. So
Transylvanian
let's say he's
skewed.
let's say he's a cool 150, 175. Whoa,
Yeah,
1,000 years old.
Whoa, 1,000 years old.
Oh yeah, 100,000 years old, like Schwartz was saying.
100,000.
No, I guess there is a date for it because he was a nobleman of a specific time. So when was Vlad the Impaler around? That's how old he
Yeah, I thought it
probably
would be
is.
like 1500s,
So
1400s. I
then
don't
in
know.
this movie was 1800, so he was like 300 years old.
That's not very impressive.
300 years? That's pretty good.
You think in 300 years
I mean, he had pretty good shoulders for a 300-year-old man.
he was kind of hunchbacky? Anyway,
I
you
really
think
wasn't looking at this guy's shoulders at all.
You
I
weren't
was
checking out
looking
his
at his
bod?
hog.
His
Yeah, dude.
his eyes and his mustache were terrifying.
Anthony, how'd you pause it now that I'm thinking about it? You were in the theater.
He was lying.
I asked the projectionist to pause and zoom in. He did it for me. I was the only one in
You
the
were the
theater,
only one in
so-
the theater. You're like, hey,
Yeah.
can you play that back? Hey,
Ain't
no
one here
play
in
it back.
College Station
wait.
fucking going to
Pause.
to a 4:10 showing of Nosferatu on a Tuesday.
You get the best clip. All right, zoom in. Can you zoom in?
You mind zooming?
It's just
No,
you and the
they just give
basketball
me the
team.
remote.
You and the entire JV basketball team.
JV.
What? I don't
Um,
know if I get that joke.
He goes to College Station. He lives in College Station. So like the basketball team went to see Nosferatu at
do
4:20 on
you
Tuesday.
think in
Oh,
300
my bad.
years you could learn to manipulate people's minds, or
Well,
is
I
that
think
strictly a
he
vampire
was.
thing?
I think he was like a being, like an evil being, like a vampire. Then that's where that power comes from. I don't think it's from his age. I think he always had that.
So it's not a learned thing.
I don't think so. I mean, he was a practicing occultist. Like that's what he was doing too. So maybe he did learn it at a certain point. That's the thing. Like I don't think like he was
Cultist
born
is
like
just
a
such
vampire.
a vague thing to be, though.
Dark
Yeah,
arts,
I think at the core of
dark
all
arts.
the
magic,
occult,
dark magic.
I think at the core of all occultism though is the fact that like they worship an entity of some sort of dark being. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is. Like
I have a I have a
that's what
brief
the core of it
little
is.
bio in front of me about Orlok here.
Go for it.
Nah, I'm
From
good.
somewhere between the 14 and 1500s, studied dark wizardry to achieve immortality.
Dark
There you go.
wizardry.
There
At
you go.
least 300 years old.
There you go.
Studied dark wizardry.
See, that's cool. Like in the Dracula thing, it was like, yo, his wife was killed under false pretenses, so now he cursed God, and because he was such a existed in such a religious time, and he was like a defender of the religion, that's what he killed a lot of people in the name of religion. That like God was like, well, if you're gonna curse me, I'm gonna curse you. You're gonna fucking live forever and have to drink blood to survive, and you can never go out during the day. Like that's cool, but that's like this is so
Yeah.
much more of like a cooler, like what you just talked about is like it's way cooler. He was like Gandalf if he was a bad guy, you know? That's fucking sick.
Yeah, and God's so
That's
unrealistic.
There you go. He's Sauron.
He's basically Sauron.
It's basically Sauron. He's like Sauron's nephew.
Sauron,
cool.
Warlock.
but he sucks blood through your titties.
All right, so we figured it out. He's Sauron.
All
Wrap it
I'm
up.
asking is how long does it take for Zorlok? How long does it take to learn to like astro project your mind into someone else's and tell them that
I think
you're
his
theirs?
study of dark wizardry would
That's where
explain
it came
that.
from.
That's
I'd
where
say
it
at
came
least
from.
200 years.
All right. Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah, I
study it.
guess
How
it's got to
long does
happen
it
like when
take?
he died, you know?
He's
Like,
dead.
there came a point to where he probably died, right? Like,
He's-
is he dead? Like, is he
No,
now?
he's
Is he
immortal.
undead?
Well, no, he's
immortal.
dead now. He's dead now.
Yes, I don't think he was dead. I think he was just he had
Are
immortality.
we talking in real life or the movie?
Wait, what do you mean?
In the
when
movies.
when he gets dobbied in the end, he's definitely dead.
Oh yeah, he's dead now in the movies, but he was. What was the question? I don't remember where I'm going with
The
this.
fuck are you saying?
Is Dracula dead?
Like the character from the beginning, I think he's dead. Yes, I don't think he's alive. I don't think he's like got a
dead.
heartbeat.
Vampires are not alive?
Like Orlok is a dead person, like an undead person. Is that what we're saying?
Yes. Orlok's like a zombie.
He died
Specifically,
long
I
ago.
heard Robert Eggers talk about how, like, in folklore, vampires, the original like folklore that like people actually like believe to be text as opposed to just like forms of entertainment. This was the type of vampires they talked about. Like they ate from the chest as opposed to the neck because it was like a better way to get the blood flow. That's why he chose that because that's what was like documented. Like the whole thing about the way he dressed
Before
would have
they
been
knew
like
about
what
jugulars.
sure like that like it's little things like that that are like the reasons why they are. So I think this is like to such a specific interpretation of it. I don't know why I said that, but you asked a question. I can't remember to why I said that.
About whether or not he's undead or not.
Oh yeah. That's like this. He's like a fucking zombie.
Okay.
He's
I
like
know
he's
there
basically a
I did
zombie.
see something along those lines of like how there is
Yeah.
the folklore of like connections between the zombies and the vampires and whether or not there's like some crossover shit. Even movies like what's that fucking Will Smith movie that is like
I Am
he
Legend.
I Am Legend. To me
Hancock.
that's a little yeah, that one. It's a little bit of zombie, they're a little bit of zombie, a little bit of vampire, right? Like they're
Yeah.
not exactly one or the other. They're kind of like there's a little crossover and that
All
really
CGI.
isn't that close to this movie, but that just kind of reminds me of it.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying.
But
Oh,
he's
there's a crossover.
alive but he dies at the end.
He dies at the end. Yes, I think the curse is broken by the act of him sucking blood
So he's
of a
not
chica.
dead.
I don't
I don't think he's got a heartbeat ever since he became
Why
a
do you
fucking
know?
warlock.
Now you're a
you know what I mean?
cardiologist? What does that have to do with anything?
No, I'm saying I don't think Dracula ever is like alive. You know what I mean? I think Dracula's always dead, but like the sunlight like physically destroys him.
Why do they feed on why do they drink blood?
I mean, why does this Orlok guy drink blood? I think
I'm
it's
asking
for
why does a
survival.
vampire drink blood if
Well, I think it's for that's like their survival. It's
so
like their water.
so he is alive.
It's their water. You know what I mean? I don't think he's got a heartbeat.
it's like
though.
a form of alive. Heartbeat is
Like,
that,
he
that's
has
that's,
to
that's
eat something.
like he's in a
sustain
different
his
state of
life.
being. Like he is no longer the form of alive that he once was, the same form of alive that we are
I mean,
collectively.
we're
But
getting in the nitty
I don't.
gritty here.
I
as
mean,
to
is
Why are
that
you
like
asking this
what is a
question,
like
then?
what is a vampire? Is kind of the question, right? Is that what we're kind
I'm
of
saying he's
asking?
alive. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying he's alive. He's just
Why
a
don't you type into the
vampire.
Google machine "Are vampires alive" and see what it says?
Like, but was there
You
some
say
sort
that.
of transformation to him being a vampire? I guess they don't. You don't have to die. You more like transform into being a vampire.
Schwartz says
right?
he's born vampire.
No, I did not say he was born a vampire.
No, that's gay.
No, I did not say he was born a vampire. He was made.
You don't think people are born gay?
He had practiced the occult so much that it made him undead.
It
That's the
made him
thing.
dead.
Like Robert
So he's
Eggers
not
isn't
even
saying that he's
There's
like
no vampire. Oh no, they do say vampire in this movie.
yes. Robert Eggers
Somehow he transformed into a vampire.
Robert Eggers isn't saying that like he's the classic Dracula guy. He's like this is a fucking dude who like became undead and like practiced the occult and like became a vampire like by choice and is like pure evil. He's
This
like a
is not
disciple of like
our
Aleister Crowley or
American
something.
Count Dracula version interpretation of a vampire. This is the old Transylvanian
Folklore.
folklore
More folklore.
definition of vampires.
That's what Robert Eggers does. Is he uses that. He bases all this shit off like
Old school.
actual things that
Old
happened in the
school.
times.
Well, here's what I'm
Like how
saying: is
Northman
that
wasn't even adapted by Hamlet; it was adapted
it was,
by the
which means it was alive, and then when he fucked her, he became dead.
Yeah,
That makes
Sure.
sense.
maybe. Say it again.
He was alive, and then because he was. I mean, if we're going by based on the story, he was alive. He's alive because he was cursed by God to never die.
Yeah, but
And is
Am
that
I
what a
wrong?
vampire is?
that's in
though?
the that's in the Dracula book. Though.
What
That's in the
is.
Dracula book. That's not
that's the
what this
Dracula
is
book.
though.
I mean, it's
That's not what
at
Robert
the
Eggers' version
at the
is,
very
though.
end. It said based on Dracula.
Yeah, it's both.
It also says based on the F.W. Murnau movie, which is not Dracula.
It
Okay.
says and.
It says both, though.
It says both. It literally says both in the script.
I get
mean,
that,
in the
but
credits.
I don't
times, you
think
know,
but I don't think that makes it that what you're saying though, because I don't think that's his version.
because you
of it.
don't like that. That's fine.
No, that's not because I don't
entitled
like
to
it. It's
their
because
opinion.
all sides of the movie point to it not being that. Like that's his point. Is like it's not that version. Like that's the point of it. Like that's what he's trying to say. Is like this isn't that. Like I like
That's
that,
your
and that's
interpretation.
cool. But that's no, it's not.
I don't think
it's all of what he's
I think it's
throwing
all
at
about
you.
interpretation.
I think it's your
this is another one of
interpretation.
those
At no
things that we all
point do
have a
they
little
say
bit of
he's
different
dead or
viewpoint.
undead in this. In fact,
Is that
he's
what
a
we're
person.
arguing?
He just. I mean, that's.
I didn't know
yeah,
that's what we were arguing. I
that's
thought
what
we
I'm
were
saying.
arguing.
Yeah, true. He's just
something else.
that's what I'm saying. Also, he's just a person, but he's an old as fuck, cursed to be a mortal person.
Yeah.
But I think there's a way
He's
to
like
break
300,
that curse,
400
and
years old.
somehow he can create curses or some shit, and he's old as fuck. But
I
he
think
is
when you live that long, you learn
and
to
he's a
send your mind.
yeah. And you almost start probably like rotting or something and almost decomposing at a
If I
certain
was
point, maybe.
375 years
I don't
old,
know. I'm
I
no
would
cardiologist.
I would manipulate your dreams like Freddy Krueger.
The thing is that the dream and the mind manipulation thing is because he's like an evil entity. That's what that's about. Because that was in the
That's where
book
the
too.
dark
That's in
magic
the
comes
Coppola
in.
movie. Yeah, that's what that's all about.
Yeah, you knew dark magic.
Again, just a very
Dark
vague.
magic. Yeah. It's a
This
lot
dude
here.
Eggers is supposedly has a show about Rasputin, like a TV show, and I think that would be awesome because his movies always like I think like have a lot of like underlying meaning in these ways, but you don't really get to know it because it's his stories are so simple that you don't need to know it. Like the actor need to know it, and like you see it basically vaguely or like come out in different ways while you watch it. But like with a TV show, like I feel like we'd see more of it, which would be cool.
You get a lot more time with them.
That's what I mean. Hopefully
Is that
that'll
what you're
happen.
saying Robert Eggers is doing next?
I mean, I've heard that that's something that he has going, but like one thing I have heard him say a couple times listening to a podcast and like him talk is that like he's got like a couple things at all times going because like he never know what people are gonna want. He said he was like this movie was greenlit like 4 or 5 times over the past 10 years and it never happened. Then all of a sudden they came to him and were like, "Yeah, do you want to like make Nosferatu now?" And he's like, "Okay, cool, yeah, let's do it." So like he says he's always got a few things going. 'Cause he said like he originally only had like one thing and like no one wanted to make it, so he had to figure out what else to do, and that's why he ended up making the lighthouse because like his brother was like, I'm writing this screenplay about two dudes who work at a lighthouse, and he's like, well, the movie I wanted to make, no one fucking wants to make, so like I have an idea, let's just collaborate, and then they like made the lighthouse. Anyway, that's where that is.
Yeah,
But
it's a
like I
rad
heard that he
story.
could be doing Rasputin. You know what's
Uh-huh.
rad? Your fucking mustache.
Thanks,
And
dude.
that's not true.
Thanks, man.
Fucking
Just trimmed her down real low.
Skarsgård's mustache was good.
Skarsgård's mustache was epic.
He had like a pseudo Hitler look going on. Kind of the hair to the side.
Very Vlad the
Yeah.
Impaler.
Yeah. I've never seen Vlad the Impaler. I don't even know if he's a real person, but
He basically looks like this guy. Basically, he's kind of him.
is Vlad the Impaler a real person?
Show me a
Yes,
photograph.
You got a
yes. Vlad the
photograph of this
Impaler is
guy?
a real person. That is who.
You got a photo?
Probably not.
Sure. Hold on.
Probably
Here.
not. I bet they didn't have photographs when Vlad the Impaler was a person.
They have.
Let him
They
let
have
him try.
paintings.
I bet they didn't
Let
have
him
have
try.
paintings.
types.
Paintings.
Yeah, show me a tapestry of Vlad the Impaler, please.
That's a painting. Paintings aren't real. There's probably a cartoon about him too, but
Okay,
that
yeah.
doesn't fucking mean
That's a
anything.
good-looking dude. That dude's about as real as Rasputin.
He was called Vlad the Impaler because he would impale people on the stakes and just let them like fall.
Original.
I'm just saying that's why they called him that.
That was 1448.
Yeah, back in 1440, it was pretty goddamn original. I bet
Back in
people were
those
like, "Oh damn,
1400s.
this guy's."
They had Todd the Rapist. You know why they called Todd the Rapist Todd the Rapist?
Yeah, but dude, in 1440, this was the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like Jake said, don't be dissing the fact that when he was doing it, it was innovative.
I don't know,
Okay,
man.
you now
That's
with
an
your
old-
fucking TikToks and your
that's a-
social medias, you got everything at your fingertips.
Dude,
Back in
Impaling's
1492,
an old,
Vlad the Impaler,
way
people.
before Vlad.
He was in
When's the
people,
first time
and
someone
people
got
were
impaled? Dude,
talking
Jesus was
about
impaling
it.
people.
Listen, Vlad was impaled, and people were talking about it.
They were
okay?
impaling
He
people
got a
BC,
rep.
dude. This is AD.
Yeah, but you know what? How many other people you know with Impaler in their name besides for Vlad? Okay,
We
so
don't know.
he's the guy.
I'm no
all right?
historian, dude. It could
He's
be
the guy.
Zeus the Impaler. Zeus
No,
was impaling
there's
people with
none of-
lightning bolts.
There's none of that. Okay. Oh my god. In Curb Your Enthusiasm, when fucking Bill Hader plays Timor, he's like, "Oh no, that's not real. You're making that up. It's science fiction. Star Wars." Some of the best lines of all time. Oh, no.
I mean, all I'm saying is I don't
Anyway,
think
where
Vlad
are
was
we?
a real person.
The vampire. Yeah, he was, dude.
As real as Jesus, if you know what I'm saying.
You know who wasn't real? Dracula. That's who wasn't real. Vlad the Impaler was just like the inspiration for Dracula.
Okay.
So what is the Dracula story?
Basically, this same story.
But you said
He
it's
meets-
not based
Little-
off of
yeah.
this.
He meets. No, it is. It's totally based off
It's all
of
the
it.
same.
It's the same thing.
Then what was your argument before?
You gotta tell me what we were talking about.
You were-
I don't
Tell me what you're
remember.
talking about. and then I'll tell you what it
We'll
was.
go back and listen to this episode and laugh about it. Anyways, this movie sucked.
Yeah, I don't even know where we are. He
We're
died.
over.
Everyone's dead.
I thought it was cool that he brought the plague with
He
him.
was
That was cool.
alive. He went and banged the girl. It made him mortal, and then he died.
Yeah, took a boat, got
Which
infected
again,
people with
it's
the plague.
the Mummy. This is exactly how the Mummy goes, except they
What
they
are
did
those?
spell
Just a rip
to-
off of the Mummy?
I think this is a ripoff of the Mummy.
No, I'm pretty
Have
sure
you ever
that the
seen
Mummy,
the original Mummy?
the one with Boris Karloff,
Is
Was it made before 1922?
that this? What's the storyline on that?
they dig up a mummy and like a what should be called? What do you call it? What they're in a tomb or whatever, and the mummy comes out and it just like wreaks havoc.
It's a curse.
And goes after the girl.
More curses.
Yeah, a lot of them go after girls. Even Frankenstein goes after the girl.
They always go after the girl. What else is there to do? What would you do if you were a monster?
Anthony would go after
I'd
a
go
dude for sure.
I'd go after dudes.
That is
Dudes all day.
easier. It's an easier move.
Big, muscly. I go after dudes that look like Skarsgård.
Anyway, let's rate it.
Weird vampire dick.
I'll tell you the rating. Schwartz gave it a 6.6.
What? Really? Damn.
Jake gave it a set. Numbers don't lie. Jake gave it a
You hate this movie.
7.75.
Not a big deal.
I gave it a 7.3. Schwartz, what was the one you had a cinematography? No. What was the one you had an issue with? Creativity and originality.
It's just not original. I've seen it done so many times that like I just knew what was coming. So that was the only downfall for me.
Plot development.
It's a great film. Robert Eggers is a master. What was I just gonna say that I wanted to say something?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's like 30
Yeah,
versions of it.
I definitely, if you were telling me if what this movie was out of a 10, I would definitely give it like an 8. So my thing might say 6, but I would definitely say 8. I think it's a good movie.
Yeah. Not perfect, but very good.
I'm not sure what I did here.
No movie's perfect. Maybe
Oh no,
Scarface.
you gave it a 7.5. Schwartz.
Okay, there you go.
For
There you
some
go. That
reason,
sounds way more like
I
it.
wasn't counting the last one there.
Yeah, 7.5 sounds good.
It's around that 7 ballpark.
We
Seems
are
about fair for
7.5,
this.
7.75, and I have a 7.03. I'm sorry, 7.53.
See,
I was
that's
just
about a-
saying
it's about a-
numbers
that's
and then
about a
saying
7.
different
It's about a
ones.
7.5 average.
You know,
Sounds like to me.
numbers don't lie.
Yep.
What's it got on the IMDb?
Good, not great. IMDb. Let's take a
No,
look.
this movie is great. Your ABCD system is just not the way to rate a
Hey,
movie.
no one even referenced letters this time. You're bringing
Yeah,
that
what
up,
were we
Schwartz.
talking
You
about
said good,
letters?
not great. That means
IMDb
your
It's
has
a
a
good movie because
7.6.
it's a good movie, not
It's
a great
movie. It's
How
a great movie.
How am I
for
wrong?
Sure.
Prove me
It's
wrong.
a great movie.
Prove
It's
me
definitely
wrong.
a great movie.
Prove it.
I just proved you wrong. It's a great movie. There's nothing
By
bad about
saying
this
it
movie.
multiple times, you think you're triple stamp or double stamp, dog. It's good.
I think
It's
a great
great.
movie.
Yeah, I do too.
I second great movie.
2
Little
against
long.
1, you lose. Great movie.
I was
Little
gonna look
long.
something up, and I was about to look something up, but
That's
I
all.
forgot because this argument's dumb.
My third favorite Robert Eggers movie.
My
What's
third
your
favorite
fourth?
Fanning sister?
My number 1 would be The Wish. Number 2 would be Lighthouse. Number 3 would be this. Number 4 would be Northman.
That's fair. Oh yeah, I was looking up fucking critic scores. 85% Rotten Tomatoes, 8.1 on IMDb. So
8.1. I thought it was 7.6.
Says 7.6.
well,
right
according to Wikipedia is dumb then. So
They probably just not updated
never
yet.
mind what I say.
Yeah, Wikipedia ain't live, dude. 7.6 on IMDb.
All right, 7.6. That's pretty much ours as well. So numbers don't lie. Good, not
Hey,
great.
Wow.
Proved you wrong.
What do you mean good, not great? What do you mean by that? What do you mean?
He's
What
giving
do
it
you
a
mean?
C
It's a
thing,
good
dude.
movie. I didn't
J-Law.
say
What do you
anything about A's, B's, or C's.
Yeah,
okay?
well, what's good, not
I
great
get it.
category?
BTs.
What's wrong with a good movie? A good movie is still a good movie. You know why? Because
I
it's
agree.
fucking good. It's still good.
Jake, what do you think about this movie that you could what about what would make this movie great?
I don't know.
What would you add or take away in this movie to give it that jump from good to great? Let's look at your scores.
That's a good question. I would say
Your lowest scores here were cultural relevance. I don't know. That's kind of a
okay,
dumb
and
one.
like yeah, and then like
I don't
personal.
think it has any cultural relevance.
like
Schwartz
per-
gave that
like
a
pers-
9.
I think like personal resonance or something, like how like it affected me personally.
You gave
I
it a
feel like
7.
maybe I don't know. I don't want to. Not to complain about the characters, but it's like maybe make them more relatable. I don't really know how.
That's the
I'm
thing.
not
It's not
that's
movie
not,
about
it's not,
characters.
that's what I'm saying. It's not one of those. So it's like it's not exactly that. So, I mean, I think a better movie to me is a movie that just affects me more on an emotional level. So this movie didn't do that. And again, it's not that there's anything wrong with that because it's still a very good movie.
So if it was between
But-
this and About a Boy, you're watching About a Boy.
About a Boy was pretty good. I don't really remember it very well, but I remember it it hit me on an
Hugh
emotional
Grant?
level. Yeah, dude, Hugh Grant's pretty good.
And
That
this
dude
where he dances,
has
Billy
a-
Elliot.
All right,
career.
Nosferatu or Karate Kid? What do you watch?
Which Karate Kid?
First one, Machio, not Chan.
Those
I
are
wanna
such
s-
different movies.
I want to
All
see
right, but you gotta pick
Nosferatu
one. Gun
again.
to your head.
I'm going Nosferatu.
Gun to your head.
Probably
You
right
can go
now.
away.
Well, I mean, I just watched it, but probably Nosferatu.
Nah, I need to see
All
it.
right,
I'm
good
go-
answer.
I'd like to see it again.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen Karate Kid a bunch of times, so I don't know.
Good answer.
That's
good-
such a hard. That's such a random this or that.
No, it's a good one. That's a good one. Put it on Twitter.
This movie definitely deserves another viewing. You'll definitely see things you didn't see before. It's pretty.
I'm gonna wait till it's streaming, but I'll watch it again for sure.
Do you, boo boo?
I don't really know how much I noticed on the second watch, but I did like it both times. Just saying. Just
What are you saying?
that?
What,
I don't know
what
if I
was
got-
the- what was the crux of that?
That I don't know how much more I got out of it on a second watch. Was all I was saying.
Gotcha.
Why would you
Are
wear
saying
two
Schwartz
watches?
wasted his money.
No, Schwartz was commenting that watch it again and you'll get more out of it. And I'm like, I don't know how much more I got out of it on the second time. That's all I was commenting back.
Yeah, let him live, dude.
Dude, let me live. I don't need two watches. I one watch.
I can't even fucking tell time. Wasn't he two?
Well, those are our choices. Like and subscribe. And hang and watch movies.